Hey all, and welcome back to Fantasy Online 2, your pixel art top-down MMORPG. I'm here making another video today. I kind of wanted to go over the basics of the game, trying to help out the new players that are coming into the game, or if you see the video and you want to try it out. This little video will just help you get a little used to the things that make this game the way it is. Firstly, I wanted to start with movement. Was I think one of the first things that is, I wouldn't say super important, but it's helpful for later on. Obviously, I don't really mean like just moving around the map, because that's pretty self-explanatory. You kind of just hold the mouse. Obviously it's also on like Steam Deck and other things. You can use controllers, so you can use the control sticks. I imagine. I don't know. But I just use the mouse. But the main thing I'm talking about is kiting. Is what we call kiting. Essentially, when you're attacking an enemy, generally speaking, a fight will just be you and the enemy just standing here and dealing damage to each other. Every so often, I do damage every 3 seconds, 3.0 attack speed, and then the enemy I'm fighting right now does, I think it's these dudes. We'll do 1.8 a second. Every 1.8 seconds they'll attack me. So if you're fighting a boss or something that does a lot of damage, which is the main reason you'll want to use this strategy, is if I attack him and then I start moving, he can't hit me while I'm like this. They just can't do damage to you. If you walk far enough away, it'll just, it'll leave the combat. But if, for the time being, like while you're still in combat with him and you're moving around him, he won't be able to hit you. Obviously, you can't hit the character either, but the nice thing about this is that the enemy has a little delay on when they attack you. So if I stop moving, you'll see the damage numbers appear over his head, but I didn't take any damage. No damage numbers went over my head. So I'm doing damage to him, and he's not doing any damage to me. So this is what we call kiting. It's pretty easy. It's not too hard to do. Once you get the timing down, you'll know like when to start moving again, what to do damage, and you'll get used to like how often you attack. Because if you're not used to it, you might do it a little early. Like if I do it right now, I stop again a little early. I didn't do any damage there, and I actually got hit. Not that it really matters, but I didn't do any damage there the second time because I did it too early. My attack cooldown wasn't finished yet, so you'll have to get used to that rather. And it's a little harder with melee weapons like the strength weapon that I'm holding, and then the stamina weapon, and the mage's weapons, the intellect weapons. The agility weapons is a little easier because you can attack from, some kind of distance more like this. This will be like the distance that you attack from instead of being all the way up here. So if I go over and I try to hit this enemy, I attack him, I'll attack right down here, and then he has to come all the way up to me to hit me, which is a little easier for kiting, at least, because you don't have to get close to the enemy. You don't really got to put yourself in that danger of being hit by them, especially when you're fighting these bosses that do way too much damage to you, if you're a little low leveled. So that'll be the way to get rid of these dudes. That's what kiting is, and that's really the main thing about movement in this game. There's not really much else to do about movement. I've noticed there is like a little, I don't know if it's a bug or it's intentional. I don't imagine it's intentional because it's kind of weird. But if you want to, usually I'll just hold the left click to move after I kill this guy. So I'll just hold this left click to move, and if I let go, it'll go to the spot that I let go it at. So I let go all the way over here, and he'll walk all the way to that spot where I let go. But if I do this, and then I right click while I'm left clicking, and I let go of the left click, I'm not holding either of the clicks right now. He's just following my mouse. It's not super, it's just a little thing that is nice to know, I guess, if you don't want to hold the mouse all the time, if you're traveling somewhere. It's just nice to, and then if I click again, he'll stop. So just nice to know. Second thing I wanted to talk about was these tabs. I'm going to go over all these tabs, but a lot of them are probably going to pretty much skip over, because they're pretty self-explanatory. Like the gem shop is the first one. Just buying gems. Hit the button, it'll take you to, also SECs. It'll take you to the like separate page where you buy stuff and you'll get gems. It's pretty self-explanatory. It'll give you a gem note. Obviously, you have your character tab, shows all your stuff in here. Your outfit tab is just obviously for your cosmetics. You can rotate these little buttons to see what you look like, which is nice. Your factions are helpful, and in the same way not. I mean, it's helpful to know where you're at and how much XP you have, of course, for each faction, and it'll show all the ones that you've joined. Essentially, you obviously have to kill an enemy in that area to join the faction. But obviously, it says where you're at. So exalted, revered. So I've got all these different, essentially, levels of where I'm at, but it's not showing me like what that means, because later on I'll actually teleport to the. Goodness gracious, it's over here. Teleport over to the town, and you can see right here this guy. So as you can see, for these, I need friendly to wear this. I need Glacier Union friendly, decorated, revered. So obviously it goes up and up to wear all these things. And you might say, well, okay, well, that's the order, but if I don't memorize that order, friendly, friendly, decorated, revered, glorified, exalted, and then venerated, if I don't memorize that order, like I don't really know what I'm at, and that'll be kind of addressed later in a second, but you'll be able to figure that out in a minute. But this just shows you a good little area where you are. And then of course the mobs. This is actually one of my favorite things they added, was your little like, kind of like your bestiary, is what we call it. It shows your enemies, whichever ones you've killed, it'll show the enemy in that area. And then it'll show the number that you've killed above it. So, and for example, these ice veins have killed 60 of them, and then it shows when you kill one of them, it'll show you this little, what it's called, what level it is, and how much health it has. And the rest of it will be question marks, like these ones right here. And then as you kill more of them, you kill 10 of them, and it'll show you how much damage it does. So it'd be 250 to 600 for these guys per 2 seconds. Just shows you what they do. And then if you kill 20 of them or more, at 20, you'll get how many coins they drop. And that's, right now, that's the limit to the functionality of how many you have to kill. You only have to kill 20 of each enemy. And then, of course, the other really nice thing is what they drop, as it shows. So as you collect the drops from the enemies, it'll populate on your little thing here, and it'll show you what they drop, and they'll stay there forever, essentially. So as you can see, all these show what they drop. So it's nice to have that. Obviously, if there's spaces, it means you haven't collected that item, so it's not populated. And it goes like increasing, or rather, it shows decreasing essentially as you go from left to right. It'll show the decreasing of the likelihood that you drop that item. So this, the frozen fish, when you kill a penguin, pretty much drops almost every time you kill a penguin. But these items that are going to be over here, they're going to drop a lot less frequently. Same thing, right here. It's like the sword that I have. I've killed like, I don't know, 50, 60. Obviously, I've killed more than that. But today, just earlier when I was playing, I've killed maybe 70, 80 of these dudes. And I've dropped, 4 of these blades. But as you can see, the hot cocoa, I've dropped 20, 40, 60, 80, 89. So you get a lot more of what's on the left and then a lot less of what's on the right. And that's your one over here. So that one's a little bit more in depth. This one's obviously very self-explanatory. It's your skill book. When you purchase skills, you'll double-click the book that you purchase, and then it'll go into your little skill book. And then you can drag and drop these on your hotbar wherever you want them. Usually also when you learn a skill, you double-click the book, it'll auto-put it into your hotbar down here somewhere in an open slot. You can just drag and drop them out as well if you want to. It's up to you. That's pretty much the functionality of this. It's pretty simple. And then you got your quest log. We'll show all your quests that are active. Your blue ones are going to be your active quests, and then your gray ones are going to be the ones that you finished. It's nice that it shows your goal and then your reward, and then what you also, if you get any items for the quest, it'll show that here. I like the goal. I like that I added this as well. A lot of times I'll read a quest, I'll click on somebody, I'll get their quest, and then I'll walk away and I'll be like, wait, what did I just get the quest for? And then I'll go talk to the guy again, and he'll, the person will say something that has nothing to do with anything. Is this Moon? Good to see you, Moon. Nice job on 65, Rebirth. I can't find any of these dudes. I think I have one dude over here that's showing. So as you can see, there's this guy right here. So I haven't done the quest yet, but he says, just a heads up, don't eat the snow here. So I have a quest from him, but he's not telling me anything about the quest he gave me. So if you forgot what it was, of course you can go to whatever that quest was called. Actually, I think it says it right there. Yeah, Machinist Mayhem. So you can go into your quest thing called Machinist Mayhem, and that says right here, kill 80 frozen machinists. And these are the dudes that are on the right over here. So that's how you can figure out if you, forgot what quest you're supposed to do. Obviously, they also come up over here on the right. We'll show your things, Machinist Mayhem. And you can click this on the side, which is nice. Bring you right to that tab, which is great. Same thing. And then we'll go over to achievements. This has these 4 tabs right here, your achievement page. Level is pretty self-explanatory, of course. Whatever levels you reach, you'll get achievements for. And then your collector, this is when you bring items to your collector, your wearable items, give them to him. They just added a couple more, so now we're up to 1,000. I think 500 was the max before, and now we got 750 and 1,000. You don't really get anything for these achievements. You just get the achievements. Oh, and this now shows where you're at. Does it? No. Okay. This is, I'm not really sure. I think it's your achievement level, maybe. I'm not sure, to be honest. And then loot. This will just show how many coins you've looted from enemies. I'm up to 1 million. Haven't reached 5 million yet. And then you got your factions. This is what I was talking about earlier. A little bit easier to tell what step you're at for each of the factions. So you can come over here and you can check this for your achievements. So obviously you can see I've got one more step for New World Order, up to get up to Venerated, and then for Crab Crusaders I got 3 more steps, and it can show you kind of what you're at if you don't remember what the order of how they go essentially. So that's helpful there. Your guild, self-explanatory. It's just members of your guild. I'll show you all the things you can put in down here to do stuff. So if you want to just talk to people in your guild, you hit /G and then type out your message. Talk to people in your guild, and that goes across servers too, which is nice. Now, you can donate coins, you can invite people if you own the guild, you can promote people if you own the guild. Obviously, this is I own this guild, so I have the extra functionality. And you can, it shows you number of members, what level your guild is. My mouse is freaking out. 65, and then your total donations in the guild. And of course the guild points. When you donate to the guild, it'll transfer that same amount to guild points. So the guild will get the donations, and then you'll get those points for yourself. So the points are per person, and then the donations are total. So a lot of guilds will have like, millions and millions, like 100 millions of coin donations, but the certain person will only have like a million points rather. The points you use to buy the guild, like armor pieces. So I've got the guild pen of the dragon right now. It's as far as I can get with the level my guild is at. So that's what you use to buy these. So these will cost you a certain amount of points. They're usually pretty cheap for what it takes you to get them. And then what's nice, a little bit extra functionality about this is if anybody of these people are online and you can see them, they'll have a little green dot, of course. I have online here, and you can click on that name. Obviously, none of these come up because no one's online. But if somebody was online, you could hit their little name. You click on it, and their little my little thing right here will pop up on their side here, and you can actually buff them or help them out, which is nice. Actually, I like that a lot. People come online recently, and I'll just buff them from there. You don't have to go find them. Battle passes, if you get a battle pass, it'll show up here, and it'll show you the level you're at, and it shows all the rewards, and you can collect them from here. I still haven't shown that because I haven't used one of my battle passes. I've just been holding on to them for the time being. Mail is one of the more interesting ones that, it's less self-explanatory. It's essentially just the way for the game to deliver you items and stuff. So if you, like again, if you had bought some gems from the gem shop, you'll refresh that page, and then you'll have mail after you buy them, and it'll just be like a little note. You'll hit collect, and then it'll go to your inventory, and you can use it. Same with anything else. If you sell stuff on the market, once you're level 20, you can put stuff on the market, and you can sell and buy stuff. If you sell stuff, the game will deliver you the money here. You'll show a little exclamation point for your mail, and you can just hit collect, and it'll give you all the money. And the rest of these are just, settings, music volume, and then your full screen button, and then your logout button. So that's all your tabs. That one took a little longer, but it's pretty simple. But some of the stuff is a little less obvious sometimes. And the last thing I wanted to go over essentially was I put selling items here. It doesn't really have anything to do with selling items, but one of the main things that I noticed when I came into the game, and one of the things you want to keep in mind, is when you're doing these quests, a lot of the quests, the first times you'll get them, it'll be like, oh, go kill these people, so machinists says, kill 80 frozen machinists. And you'll go and do that, and then you'll get, especially when you're earlier in the game, like as you can see, I have these RF satchels. These are actually crafted at Crab Coast. So if you come down here, you can go to this guy and you can buy these little fanny packs, and it gives you 4 extra inventory slots. You'll have these, 4 extra slots for one of these, and you'll take those down to this person, and then she'll make 2 of those fanny packs, combine them for a satchel, and then you can combine 2 for 8 slots. And then for 2 satchels, you can combine those into an RF satchel for 12 inventory slots. So obviously, if you don't have all those, you're not going to have all the space. So oftentimes this will get filled up pretty fast. And one of the issues that I've come across with that is, yeah, of course, like before you're finished with a quest, before you've killed enough guys, you might have to go sell stuff. I would say don't just sell everything in your inventory. I would essentially, is what I would usually say, is sell like any special items you get that you don't need, like these swords. I don't need them because I already have them. Go to this. Go to this guy. So I'll sell all these swords right now, and then I don't need these sleeping bags either, so I'll sell all these. However, these blankets are actually the next quest. So after I killed these guys, I don't know which quest it was, but it was these guys right here, these frozen soldiers right here. After I killed these soldiers, there was like kill 50 of them or something like that. I killed them. The next quest the guy gave me was 100 of these evil army blankets that they drop. So Silent Night, let's kill, grab 100 of these evil army blankets. And I completely forgot about that. And so after I killed them all, I went and sold everything in my inventory, which included, 50, 60 of these army blankets. So now I have to collect them all again. So that's what is the main thing I would try to urge you away from, is if you're going to do a quest of killing things and they have drops, just assume that after you finish that quest, you're going to need those drops for another quest. It usually ends up making your life a little bit easier if you don't accidentally sell everything before you're ready to. In fact, even these hot cocos, I would sell them, but there's a daily quest apparently for hot chocolates. You can go give them to the dude at the beginning of this area, so I can just save those for now. That's about all I really wanted to talk about in this one. I would say that's about all there is for the basics. Obviously for combat and then for mining and all this other stuff that you do in the game, you're going to learn that pretty easily as you just play the game for any small amount of time. You'll learn about that stuff you're on. I don't really need to make a video about it. It's pretty self-explanatory. The game itself is pretty simple, but that doesn't mean that it's, you know, they don't work a lot on it, and there's not a lot to do, and there's not all this stuff, you know. It's just a simple game with simple mechanics at the moment, especially because it's an alpha, you know, early game, so it might seem like there's not a lot to do in the game at first, especially when you come in to start playing it. You spawn in the very beginning, you have nothing, no items, there's not a lot to do for you. Might seem a little bit that way, but I mean, you know, that's kind of how MMOs are, rather. You usually start off like that, and you just don't have a lot to do. So I would just say give this game a little bit of time, and it actually picks up pretty quick, and you start having a lot to do. In fact, I'm going to head over to Mirabella. And I'll show off my bank again, because all these guys are killing a cat. That's fun. These are these guys. So you can team up, you can party up. Oh, that's what I was going to talk about earlier as well, when I was talking about kiting the bosses and stuff. Obviously, the easiest way to kill a boss is to get a party of people, join a party, and everybody fights it. One person can like just spin around the enemy so it can't hit them, the other people can attack it. But the other thing is kiting. If you don't have a team to fight with, you can just kite it. Anyway, this bank, so I was talking about, you know what, I actually don't even remember what I was talking about. Hold on, let me grab this stuff while I'm here. I'm crafting a couple of these extras because they are exclusives for this year, which is nice. I bought a hat mold for this. Nice. Oops, I don't have it yet. I gotta talk to this guy. Excuse me, sir. Wonderful. Alright. The bank. So, as I was saying, there's a lot more stuff to do as you get along in the game. As you can see, I have all this stuff, and it isn't just stuff I found. A lot of this is crafting materials. So all these sapphires I've crafted. Two sapphires makes a mega sapphire, and 2 mega sapphires makes an uber. All this stuff is stuff I've crafted. You know, you got all the iron crafts together. It takes a long time. 2 of these slabs makes a I don't have any iron ones, but 2 gold slabs, you know, make an iron plate, and then 2 plates will make a reinforced plate. So obviously I've spent a lot of time crafting and doing all this stuff. So there's a lot to do once you get into the game. There's all these sets and stuff, and especially even if you don't care about collecting things, there's still a lot of stuff you have to do, even to just make yourself, you know, give yourself the good equipment that you would need for whatever build you're doing and all that. Oh, another thing I could talk about, I guess, was the equipping items and such. Specifically, once you equip items, you just need what it requires to equip it. So as you can see right here, I now took this off, so I lost the strength buff for it. So now it's not a buff, but you understand. It takes 340 strength to put it on. I have 320, so I can't equip it right now. It says, you know, not high enough strength. But I have my other sword, which takes less, gives me enough strength to equip it, 344, and now I can equip this. But if I were to take something off, like these pants, I've got less than 340 strength, but it doesn't de-equip this because it's already equipped. So what's nice is that once something is on, it's on. It doesn't matter what your stats are. So that's how I got these rings on, actually. Essentially, or this ring in this book. I'm kind of like I'm a strength/intellect build. It's mostly strength, but I've got a good bit into intellect, so I can cast my own spells and buff myself with the ones I want, the buffs that I like, that help me sustain. And the way I did that, essentially, everything's actually in my collector right now. But I have these right here. So these are the tiered intellect armors. So this is tier 2. And then obviously we have the mage stuff. It's quite far down here. Mage cloak. So I got essentially what I did to get those on is I got my intellect high enough with items that don't require much. Like this is like 50, you know, it gives you 6 intellect, doesn't require too much intellect. So you can get your intellect up with items if you're doing this, you know, as an example. I can get my intellect up with items, and then I can put these on, which give a good bit of intellect. 10 intellect, 12 intellect, 10 intellect, so you get, you know, 32 intellect just for these things. And then that usually gives you enough to equip the second tier, which gives you even more, 20, 22, and 24. So now you've got an even higher buff to intellect. And so I basically just did that and put a bunch of intellect stuff on until I had a high enough intellect, 200, to equip these. And once I did that, these are equipped, they'll stay equipped. I can take all that stuff off, and it doesn't matter, and those will stay on. So this is how I got these things on. It's just a little way to get yourself to whatever, you know, state you want to be at Just takes a little bit of planning sometimes, and it does often. It's nice to have like a collector full of stuff like I have, because you have access to everything that gives you all these different kinds of stat buffs and whatever you need. So that's kind of how I got to where I am right now with my items and what I've got equipped. And with that, I'd say that's about all I had. I would just say, give this game some time when you first come in. There's a lot of stuff to do, especially if you like collecting stuff. Oh boy, you've got a lot of work to do. Even I'm nowhere near finished up. I've got all these nice stuff, so obviously I'm a strength boy. But even then, I don't even have the strength armor in my collector. I've got the tier 2 strength armor in my collector, and then I'm wearing the tier 3. The tier 1 I had to make into the tier 2 to make the tier 3 while I was wearing the old tier 2. So it kind of gets to that point for the one you're wearing. You kind of have to, make new ones to supplement those. And then, of course, if you want to collect the rest of them like I have here, obviously, so there's 3 tiers right now. So if I want to make all 3 of the tiers, I have to make 3 sets of tier 1, upgrade 2 of them to tier 2. So I've got 1 tier 1 and 2 tier 2s, and then upgrade that second tier 2 to tier 3 so I can get all of them. So it takes a lot of work, takes a lot of materials, and a lot of time to get all this stuff in. But it's totally worth it if you're into that kind of thing. I love doing this. It's really fun for me. It's just a good time. And the community we have is really good. I'm really excited to be playing it again. There's a little bit of the basics of the game. Like I said, the normal stuff, combat, moving around, it's pretty easy to figure out. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. I would say if you enjoyed the content, enjoyed this video, I would say look up, there's a good number of people streaming it right now, actually, since it's in alpha still. There's a good number of people streaming on Twitch. I know 2 of them. I know one of them is DNA FO2 is his Twitch handle, I believe. DNA, Delta November Alpha, and then FO2 for the game. He's streaming what he's calling the Road to 100, so he's trying to 100% the game. And he's pretty much just streaming himself doing that. So he's playing the game all the time, trying to get all the items and stuff, and that's going to be a tough challenge. I wish him the best. I'm sure he's going to do it because he is pretty committed. As you can see, obviously, for the achievements that I can't find, there's a lot of stuff to do. Obviously, you got to get high enough in levels. Obviously, even like level 70, you can't even get to level 70 right now. So obviously, he's going to be doing this for a long time, and the game is going to continue updating. So check him out for sure. Once again, that's DNA FO2, streaming every now and then on Twitch for this Road to 100. And there was another one as well, Drew B Games, I believe. Drew BEE Games also streams on Twitch. I think he's more casually just playing the game on Twitch, just showing it off. I would check those 2 guys out. I'll link them in the description. Aside from that, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoy the game if you get into it. And then if you want to see more of this content, just let me know. I will be continuing to make some videos, but if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm happy to make more videos. Alright, y'all have a good one.